Thanks to everyone who's joined us on time and early. We're going to give it about 1 more minute to make sure everyone's audio is connected and everything's all set. So bear with us and we'll begin shortly. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Thanks so much for joining us again. I have the privilege of being your event host today. My name is Kimberly Tucker, and I'm the Director of Marketing. So I have been receiving registrations and helping Nicole Z communicate outwards to you all to join us today for our Acumatica 2022 R1 review. We're really excited to show all of the feature updates that you see on your screen right now. And with us is our Acumatica Consulting Manager, Dean Slater, who is the leader of the group. So we're hugely grateful that he's taken the time today to review all the awesome new features and even give us a live demo of the product. And so with that, I just want to make sure everyone's aware that any questions arise throughout the presentation here, you're welcome to use the chat box to question anytime, and we'll go ahead and collect those to address at the Q&A portion of this hour. And with that, Dean, I will pass it to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kimberly, and welcome everybody that's on the call today, or those that may slide in and listen to the recording at a later time. We're always excited about this time of year in the Acumatica ecosystem. As many may know, others may not. Acumatica does 2 major releases per year, one in the spring, one in the late fall. So this is our official spring release, Acumatica 2022. And we're excited to kind of see it and see the new things that Acumatica is coming out. We will review these bullets that you'll see here. So we'll look at some of the newer technologies, some of the new things that Acumatica is doing within integrations, updates to certain modules, and other functional areas. This by no means is inclusive of everything that is happening in the 2022 R1 release. So you'll see some slides at the end of the presentation where you can contact your account manager or myself with more information that we can actually provide. So we're going to go ahead and just dive straight through. We're going to go through some slided material, and then as Kimberly stated, I will be doing a live review of the product itself. So with that in mind, we're going to look at some updates to the mobile applications in Acumatica. Primarily, the look and feel is dynamically changing for these mobile apps. There's new functionality where you'll see highlighted on the right where closing the screen or accepting the screen with a check mark becomes more obvious. Breaking down color coding or optional things that may be required that could be showing in red. Other information is needed, other pop-ups and drill downs, and then access to the keyboard on your, say, mobile phone, tablet, iPad, whatever is needed and necessary to highlight this function in Acumatica. Much more user-friendly, much more sort of modern technology within the footprint. Keeping in mind that both iOS and Android are available. So again, any Samsung tablet, mobile phone, or other Apple devices truly enabled, nothing special needed, no special licensing needed to engage in this functionality. In the personal workspace within the mobile app has also been increased. So now you can have very specific settings where you could default your company, default your branch. You can have access to different modules, and you'll see the middle image there where that person's access has CRM, sales orders, banking. So maybe they're more of a finance person getting access into different workspaces. On the mobile app as well, it's keeping up with where you've currently visited. So recently viewed sales orders or other documents. This works really, really well if somebody is doing some purchase order approval review, time card or expense review on the mobile app. Sometimes you need to run back to that, double check it. Could be maybe even a field service person that's out in the field working on a service call. They run from one call to the next. Then they want to get back, when they get back in their van, they want to make additional notes on the call that they took previously. So keeping up with, so where have I been, sort of breadcrumb trails within the sections as well. And you'll notice kind of friendly icons at the bottom of the screens there. So you've got a home page and a favorites page, and lookups especially. Some dashboards and KPIs and pinned what we call widgets within the Acumatica footprint can be exposed onto the mobile devices, and giving us a lot of traction and a lot of flexibility. Many folks are on an iPad at the airport, or so maybe they only travel with their small laptop, and having this functionality is truly great. Let's look inside some more of our technology enhancements. So in the GL, we can actually begin to detect errors. This is a concept where Acumatica is benchmarking some machine learning and some processing sort of recognition based on configuration that you want to turn on within the footprint of the application. This is a feature that would need to be enabled. So if we upgrade the site, we would need to make sure that this is turned on. And it can be enabled or disabled by company once the actual event is triggered. What this actually gives us is the capability to learn about journal entries, learn about reclass journal entries, and determine, is that an anomaly? Should that be happening? Is somebody making an error too many times in a row? Or just looking for really outliers within business detection. So Acumatica calls that the anomaly detection. So it'll look at pending training. So you can actually put the database through training mode where it's listening to journal entries, reclasses, and things along the way. And then look for, once it's analyzed it and you're ready to go, then you can put it into analyze mode, and it'll keep up with the progress. And there are some dashboards. We'll show that when we get into the live demo. There's some areas where you'll see any anomalies if they do expose themselves within the database. This is kind of Acumatica's first approach within this kind of anomaly detection. It will begin to do this in some of the other modules on future releases as well. It's really an exciting time where we can actually benchmark, machine learning and advanced database learning where we didn't have that in many of the legacy ERPs by any means. So it's a great era to be into the Acumatica footprint for sure. Another strong feature for us coming up in this build of Acumatica and going forward is the concept of localizations. We're tending to see this a little bit more. In this case, there's UK localizations coming out and several other localizations coming, and we'll see that here on the next slide in a minute. So for the UK localization, there's some exposure to VAT returns and going out to connected entities or connected websites to publish these. There's also enhancements within the bank feed process, and within the UK localization, there are some credit cards capabilities coming using Stripe as a backend processor. There's some additional Canadian localizations coming for direct deposit files. Their banking files are slightly different than the US counterparts, if you will. And then there's ways to configure these, set these up for processing vendor ACHs, if you will, or even employee expense reimbursements as needed accordingly. And then lastly, within kind of the technology and platform features is many of our dashboards and KPI widgets are getting enhanced. So we're getting some new tools, some new coloring, some new graphics, and just a simpler, cleaner approach to layering in the proper dashboards for us. There's also more out-of-the-box dashboards coming within the 2022 R1 footprint. So there's an entire series of manufacturing production dashboards and other functional areas, as you see in these two slides, a production manager and then a sales director that can be brought into your footprint that are naturally part of Acumatica or can be taken out of the Acumatica demo data. And again, as we stated just briefly, many of these dashboard widgets or the functionality on a dashboard page can be exposed out to the mobile devices as well. Many people want to see their widgets and see what's happening, manage the business by exception, so only looking at KPIs that need to be contended with at this moment. But if I'm, again, at the airport on a tablet or away from the office, it's a great tool to have on your mobile device as well. Looking then at feature updates and integration changes and updates, this is definitely a key area of Acumatica in this season. So in 2022 R1 and 2022 R2, which is planned out on future, you're going to see more and more integrations and tighter integrations and just functional adaptation of systems and solutions within the Acumatica footprint. The first one being, which really excites me in the organization and the functionality that we run here inside DSD, but I also have a lot of clients that need this similar capability. Acumatica now has an e-sign capability connecting two different products, DocuSign being one of the main primary products for electronic signatures. So in this concept, anywhere that documents can be stored and or managed, which is almost every screen within Acumatica, I can then create the envelope, prepare the document for signature, email it out, and it will then begin to track. Did they receive it? Did they open it? Did they sign it? And did it render itself back as a completed and closed document? We'll look at a couple of screens just to show, especially the eSign Central, just an amazing screen that can show us where are these documents at. So if you're tracking sales order quotes through e-signature tools, if you're tracking contract renewals, if you're using the Acumatica project modules or any other functional areas as well, great tool to track this. And again, having the GIs and the screens on the ready to show us where documents are in being triaged, where they are in status. Nobody's having to go back and swim through their email to sort out DocuSigns along the way. So great new feature here from the Acumatica toolkit. Leaning into then as well to this interconnectivity, kind of managing in one place and working smarter, not harder, is our Microsoft Teams connectivity. Again, we're a Microsoft Teams shop here at DSD, and if you are as well, you're probably really excited about this availability. So Microsoft Teams can direct connect itself into Acumatica now, and I can see the status of my contacts and employees within the database, within Acumatica, see if they're online, see if they're in meetings. I could send them notes. I could direct connect and start up a call, start integration, with Teams chats and things like that that are then also stored inside Acumatica. So very intriguing connect. And as well, because of this Microsoft Teams integration, and we'll see it in another place as well, the business events can post out to Teams channels or post information, but the events connectivity with inside Acumatica to create a meeting, to create a collaboration is really great within the Acumatica footprint, of course, keeping track of all of these features and functions. So again, if you're a Team shop, this is a beautiful integration. This last one really excites me as well. As you can tell, I'm just super geek on Acumatica ERP in many cases, but this is just a fun build. It's a fun spring season. It's all fresh, it's all new, and it's a great time to get excited about the products. But this Workwave Route Manager is a great tool within the Acumatica footprint. So if you are self-delivering sales order shipments, if you are contending with some requirements wrapped around signatures at the job site or signatures off of a service ticket or many things such as that, this Workwave route management integration is a great approach. So you can create your own subset of depots, vehicles, and drivers within the app, interconnects itself within Acumatica, and then very specific sales order types can then be triggered for the delivery, created through route, out for dispatch, create signatures, all sorts of things. At the end of it, it has some really nice KPI and analytics as part of the toolkit as well. So many people ask for this type of tool over the years, and it's nice to see that it's come to the table. Acumatica has partnered with Workwave to complete this, which is also a great approach. Workwave is the best of what they do, and we just let them route and manage accordingly. It's a nice integration for us. Looking at a couple features within payroll, not everybody needs payroll, not everybody has in-house payroll, but there are several that are out there. And just to show that Acumatica listens to its user group, listens to the partner channel on what's important and what is necessary. So prior to 2022 R1, last paychecks were a little complicated, very, very manual. Now there's ways to trigger those events and create paychecks on the fly and have a sort of a final termination style check as well. Payroll team can then easily create that, process that for those individuals. There's also some pretty distinct changes in the PTO banks, being able to pay out the balance or process the balance or keep the balance intact. This is helpful on a final check. It's also helpful on any time where PTO is kept until a certain point and then PTO is paid out, possibly at the end of the year. Some people don't have a carryover plan, but they have a partial payout plan. So there's definitely some distinct records there happening with these final checks within payroll. It's really, really helpful. Many state laws are determining that that check needs to happen quickly, eloquently, and completely, and Acumatica is ensuring that we can get there. Secondarily to payroll enhancements, one to really call out for the sake of this slide deck for today is really the fact that we can do multi-branch workers' comp codes now so that I can drive very unique rates and very unique processes by a particular branch, by the workers' comp codes. So atypically, especially in a true construction environment or specialty trade environment, where I could be circumnavigating the greater metropolitan area, but that in your world could be multiple branches for your company, perhaps. So the minute I go from one branch to a next, but I'm still functioning in my role, workers' comp codes can't follow me around. They really need to follow the branch and where the work, the service ticket, or the project, et cetera, is happening. So these are some really nice enhancements, just showing that Acumatica is listening and paying attention to our needs. And there's more payroll things to come even much later in the year for us, which we're on the ready for. So let's look at some features within the CRM module. These are some great enhancements that many folks have been asking for some time. First one is duplicates and the ability to merge or properly link the records together. Acumatica has had some duplicate checking for a while in the database, but then it would just sort of trap it, and then you still had to manually triage it. So this is keeping in mind that it will find the duplicate. It then can attempt to merge the duplicate, or as the slide shows, the bottom picture on the right is showing that I can actually link or associate this record together. So maybe I find a duplicate contact, I can easily just link that contact up and associate it with a particular business account. Maybe it's a vendor or a customer contact, or et cetera. So we'll look at a couple of these screens as well during live presentation. We'll show you how that's working. The events improvements is pretty unique. I'm liking this a lot. And again, as I mentioned previously, I can engage kind of our team's integration within these events, if that's a thing, if it's actually going to be an internal group team call. But there's now ways where we can look up unique contacts, we can look up different records, and there's an actual events GI showing us, in this example, it's showing us events for this week, this month, or even next week or next month. So using this moment, maybe taking this webinar as a perfect example, Kimberly and I have had several tag up calls, and we've talked about this event coming forward and how we're going to present the material, things like that. We do use here at DSD Acumatica internally. This event would have been a fantastic event to have online in our Acumatica tool, and then we could have collaborated within that. We could have had team calls within that, and on the final day of the event could have gotten released into this webinar. So just showing you an example or two where you could work internally. If you're working with your clients or your customers inside your, or from the inside of your Acumatica as well, maybe you're inviting them to Teams calls or Teams meetings, and you want to trigger that as a very specific event. So it's kind of a new look and feel, new data, really nice side panel callouts that we'll see so that you can easily track through the data accordingly. Lastly, this one has been super helpful. Doesn't arise a lot, but there are occasions where this is really, really important to happen. So let's say a case comes into my support tool. So it's coming into my CRM cases, and by case class now we can allow selecting employees as a case contact. So maybe a case comes in and it is for a client, but my contact is maybe another internal person, possibly development, or possibly somebody else within the organization. So if you use the case management or support module, maybe you have a need to collaborate and use contacts within yourself on the actual record. So you'll see, and we'll go touch this one as well, you'll see where I can pick from an employee contact, which is an internal contact, and apply them to the case and let them kind of be the trigger or the contact point for the case until maybe it gets resolved, and then they point the contact back to the customer, and then there's outbound emails and outbound facing as needed within that moment. So Again, not a widespread use, but when you need to be able to do this and have internal contacts on the ready and available, Acumatica's listened to us, we requested this, and it came through. And you'll see Acumatica put this as a community vote, and it got a lot of votes. So Acumatica listens, and we always encourage all of our clients and even prospects to vote on things that we need to have added to the product. And Acumatica will keep listening to us and keep enhancing as they see fit. Email enhancements, kind of going along that same line where I can add internal contacts or internal employees, say to case records. Now when I'm getting ready to send an outbound email, I can go and open that email, click into the to selection box, and then see the contact type. Maybe I'm wanting to go and send this email include and see that they were a lead or they're a contact against a business account, or I want to see an employee within the list that is maybe a similar name or a common name with even some of my clients within the list. This is a really great feature. This will work across the CC and the BCC, of course, which really, really does help. We've had some clients will say, oh, I meant to email Jim internally as a CC, and I ended up CCing Jim at some other client of theirs that had no business being on that email. So seeing the email type helps you properly choose, properly pick, and works really, really well within the new advanced email features. And then kind of last for this section before we really take a new stab at the Acumatica and kind of dig in and look at it properly, there are several new import scenarios available for us. It used to be that as implementers and as VARs, helping clients get off the ground within their Acumatica, we had to go pull import scenarios from demo data or other functional areas. Acumatica now has a lot of key import scenarios for us out of the box. So a lot of CRM ones, so dealing with leads, contacts, business accounts, even support cases or other things are now on the ready to import. This helps us onboarding a new client, but also if there's secondary tools that are maybe exporting data on a regular basis. Maybe I'm getting a lead list on a weekly basis or a monthly basis from another marketing tool. I could easily import that into Acumatica now with pre-built import scenarios, making our lives that much easier. Couple maybe minor edits, and we're on to the processing. And you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, and we'll touch this when we get into the product, but under the three radio buttons or the three buttons there, you'll see that Acumatica is now unpacking more data and more information in a pop-up window. This allows us the concept to add more things for you and have it on the ready, but not clutter your menu bar as well. And I'll show you when we get onto a screen, there's ways to add those as a favorite and add those onto the menu bar if you so choose as an individual user. So a lot of usability in this build, a lot of integration within this build, and really some fun, exciting features. Let's go ahead and touch the product, and we'll do a little bit of driving around, and then I'll leave some Q&A time towards the end where we can ask some questions. So I've got Acumatica here in the background ready to go. Let's kind of get logged back in. When I sit for a minute, it's going to go ahead and log me out. So we'll just refresh that right quick and log back in. So the first thing that we're going to kind of look at, I'm going to go slightly in the order of the slides that we saw on the screen so that you could sort of track along with the recording. If I go in under my finance section here and look under this area, then we have kind of this analyze account transactions. This is a screen now that Acumatica has available for us that will process your anomalies. So we do have the ability to come in and kind of put it into train model and start recognizing, company records and work through independent companies. You'll only see the companies on the ready that are activated for this feature. So again, I've enabled the feature and I've checked the box that these two companies are available. And I know that because I have an entirely third company, a revision 2 services company in my demo data that is not activated, and I don't see that here. If I jump down to my dashboards, then I'll also see GL anomalies as a dashboard. It could be added to my favorites widget, so I could get to it on the ready. There's 2 companies pending detection. There's not any unprocessed documents. I don't have any anomalies year to date because my demo data atypically is pretty clean. I'm not in here doing crazy things and doing a bunch of reclassifications and oddball transactions. I'm not saying that clients do. Sometimes things happen by mistake, or sometimes things were not intended. And again, this functional area within Acumatica is designed to be machine learning so that it understands as the user begins to use it more and more and more, what is normal, what is not. So it'll become a powerful tool once it's enabled and it's used for a strong period of time. Switching then as well, bank feeds now has a nice bank feeds dashboard. Bank feeds for us in the newer Acumatica footprints is consistent of, say, Amex expense cards, where if people have transactions coming into the database and it needs to be triggered into expense receipts, where employees need to claim them as expenses, or possibly I'm triaging, credit card reconciliations for e-commerce, or I just have regular bank transactions or bank feeds coming into the database. So this is where I'm seeing a widget. There are 38 transaction lines to be reviewed. Can't even talk. And then there's 29 still to be matched or processed. So they were processed, attempted to be processed, and now I need to review them deeper. Acumatica couldn't, really trigger it. This one I get asked for a lot in the implementation lifecycle. Well, how do I know how my employees are tracking? How do I know if they've done all their expenses appropriately? Well, if we're pulling in an American Express feed or a Chase corporate card feed per se, then I know now on a weekly basis or even a very frequent basis, now I have 6 unclaimed expenses, and I can easily drill down into these records, just simply a generic inquiry hiding in the background, and I can see what the charge is, the reference to the charge, and then even go from there, see what corporate card it's on, a little more additional information. And then I could start chasing down these 2 particular employees and get them to finish their expense claims. So this new bank feed, really, really nice, and also showing us kind of some new enhanced dashboards that are coming at us near out of the box from Acumatica. Keeping up with that kind of dashboard component, there are several manufacturing dashboards out of the gate that are ready to go and ready to be seen. This one's going to take just a minute to render. So production manager, looking at orders to be released today, projects by status, and just looking at any other functional, orders not started, orders to review, material variances where I'm running short. So many of these things have had to been built out in the past manually. Acumatica is now giving us a really nice stack out of the gate to really help our end users. So I've got production meeting dashboards, manufacturing workflows that can be seen as well. All right, with that said, I'm going to show us a couple features kind of side by side. I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to look at a particular sales order. So in this case, I'm going to look at this 6868 sales order. There are some files attached to here. This happens to be a PDF file. And once all of the DocuSign integrations are fully active and functioning, notice when I drill down into that particular file maintenance, I can then track the e-sign status, the activity, and the owner, which all then can be brought into dashboard widgets even, or additional GIs to really help you track the envelopes and the e-signature documents that are going outbound. So really an interesting feature and an interesting visibility. We use DocuSign internally here, but we still kind of struggle getting that visibility. So having this within Acumatica off of many different documents. So possibly I'm sending a sales order confirmation and I want them to sign it, or it's a quote, or it's a contract, or really off of maybe the CRM opportunity screen or anything such as that. So keep that in mind, that you can have many different footprints anywhere that file attachments are maintained and held. Can be really handy. But as well, that same PDF file, if I call out this side panel, I can see the files being attached, and we have an Adobe editor being fed into the connector through Acumatica. So along the same lines of not just the e-sign documents, but maybe I want to edit or attach or highlight something on this particular record that is in this PDF file. So in this case, I've put currency US dollars, and then I've typed in here US only. That little side panel, the pop-up for this note could be trimmed down. I could add other call-outs. Notice you've got your call-outs, your pencil, your erasers or your highlighters, all available just like you would have in a regular Adobe style editor. Really, really handy. I've had clients over the last 10, 12 years ask for such things. You end up having to download the documents, edit them, slide them back up into Acumatica, reattach them. So to me, this is just huge. It's on the ready. You're editing the document as it's still attached to Acumatica and being able to save and record these records. Also keeping in mind that some of the newer features in the advanced side panel callouts, really super handy. So on this particular record for this sales order, it has a PDF attached and I can call into that. And this side panel callout is in several screens. Really is quite handy. So it kind of gives us approach to seeing the document history or the document status if it is going through an e-sign protocol, and then as well the PDF editor. And this is available, PDF editor, on any screen where the PDF file is actually being attached. It's not simply limited to sales orders, if you will. All right, let's transition and jump down then to payroll. We'll just look at the screen briefly so you can see where this is being called out. If I click on any one of these, maybe I've got my concrete guys. Concrete guys are now, and girls do concrete too. But now I can easily add branches available to apply to that particular record. So right now there's only 2 call outs. There's a percentage of gross, and then there's an amount per hour. And I could maybe replicate that out and have 2 different rates by branch as needed for that particular workers' comp code. States are really trying to trip us up these days, make it more and more complicated, and we really want to make sure that we stay on the ready to do these payrolls properly and intact. All right, rolling along. Be sure to save up your questions, and we'll triage those at the end. Let's look at some duplicate validation. Now, duplicates for us can look through your leads, your contacts, and even your business accounts, which business accounts could be vendors or customers, and contacts could be against your vendors or customers as well. Leads, of course, are for the CRM functionality, leads being tracked and transferred into maybe business opportunities and things of that nature. There is a duplicate validation configuration where you can come in by the particular record. Let's take, say, leads, and it's looking at a weighted score and an evaluation. So base first looking at email, first name, account name, last name, phone number, and then if they had a website or a web domain. You could easily add some other records in here if you have a lot of leads or a lot of contacts. Maybe you're trying to source duplicates based on a source value or things like that. So other things can be applied. I can resort the scoring capabilities as well. You'll notice in this example, the email is the winner. Some of my clients in past configurations, they've wanted the phone number to be the winner. They don't get a lot of emails from their client base, but they'll get a lot of phone numbers. And Acumatica allows us to configure that and triage that accordingly. Something else then you'll notice is I now have this duplicate flag, and then I have a duplicate valuation. So I've not gone back through my demo data. This demo data in Acumatica space has been, many of these records have been around for a while. You'll see several years old. They've not been truly validated. We do have nice side panels here on the side. So any one of these records, I could look at the contact. I could look and see if this contact is part of any opportunities or if this contact is part of any CRM cases. So again, a nice reference or a nice kind of show. These side panels have been in Acumatica for a while, but they're becoming more of a commonality. They're more of a staple to the product. And we're easily adding these in as we upgrade clients. We're enhancing their generic inquiry list to include more and more of these functionalities. So I'm just going to go ahead and find you one that is potentially a duplicate, and I'll show you how Acumatica is looking at this. So for demo purposes, I slid myself in there and ran it through its validation check. So you'll notice that it validated the first record that it found based on the date that it was entered, date and timestamp that it was entered. So I did the first one super dark 30 this morning, my time, and then several hours later came back through and added the second record. The second record, even though it is near identical, if we call out into these contact records and I jump between the two records on the screen, you'll see they're nearly the same. Same information, same address, everything is the same. But it found the second one and said possible duplicate on the actual contact record, which is really a nice feature. So now all of this can be splashed out onto a dashboard widget. If my responsibility is marketing, tracking and triaging contacts, and maybe scrubbing contacts, or maybe that's part of a finance role, these records can easily be grouped together with very specific filters on them, looking for these possible duplicates. Once I jump into a contact record, then a new tab will populate when it's been flagged as a possible duplicate as duplicates. It'll find the additional record, and I can actually merge the two records before. This, to me, when I saw this hit in the Acumatica database, just warranted a great round of applause by me, even though I'm sitting in my office by myself. We've been asking Acumatica for several years now for an ability to triage these duplicates, either merge them together or do something else with them. Your second feature as well, if I don't want to merge this together, is simply associate it with another record. So if I jump down in here, I can get to the record type and associate it with an additional business account or something else. Maybe it's something that in somebody that's already on file. All right, nice feature, really great. We've been wanting this for a while, and I'm going to go ahead and process this and merge the records together. Now I'm off to the races. Okay. So we're good to go from that perspective, which is it's a pretty exciting feature for sure. The next thing I want to just bring up just briefly, we won't spend a whole lot of time here. Events have been in Acumatica for a minute, but there's definitely some enhancements, and there'll be some advances to this enhancement if you have the Teams integration as well. I've created an internal event for later this week per se. I know that I'm the owner of this event, but now I can drop in, I can begin to invite attendees. I can add additional related activities. So in this case, I've sent 2 emails out to these contacts, the fact that I've created the event, then I did an update to the event, but I could also add notes or other messages or other work items, which is a great feature within Acumatica. Once the event is complete, then easily I can complete it and shut it down. There's other options here where I can export data, send out additional information. But let's also look, while we're here, look at this newer email functionality, just to kind of multi-purpose our point of being on this screen. On any screen where you're sending an email, I can easily jump in and see my to list. In this case, this email is on an internal event, so I pretty much have a full exposure to contact lists within Acumatica. If I was, say, on a sales order, I could maybe see that customer's contacts plus my internal contacts. And this is where you'll see I can tell the contact type, an employee versus a contact against the business account, you know, their title, what is the account ID, etc. And in many of these pop-up screens, our search features are enhanced and really rendering some nice, solid data. In the past, it might have triggered maybe only off the contact name, but we're seeing some distinct improvements here within the Acumatica footprint. So I can easily add an additional email, people that are maybe not part of the attendee list, but maybe I need to email my upline and let them know that this event so far is going off without a hitch, just giving them a quick status, and it's recorded against the event. So others may want to come into the event, review it, and be like, hey, did you email so-and-so, and give them a status update? Yes, it's right here in the email activity. It's good to go. It's really solid. So the new events feature, really nice. And there's a great filtered tab where you can actually have a side panel into the event where I can see events for this week, events for this month, next month, etc. So really, really nice. I think it'll gain a lot of traction the more our clients choose to do this. Some people are doing this for standing up some very specialized quarter end closes. Maybe you're getting ready to do a fairly unique physical inventory cycle count of some sort. Could easily create an event for that and invite all the players that are going to participate and help bring that into place. All right, keeping some traction, keeping some movement going here. I want to leave us a little time for Q&A here as well. So I just have 1 or 2 more things to show us. In looking at the cases, I mentioned that a case can be triggered to an internal contact. So if I called up a very specific record of a support case, I don't have maybe a business account or a customer or a vendor or somebody associated to this particular case class. And in doing that, then when I go to my contact list, it goes back into my internal contact list. And I see every single contact, and I'll see even internal employees and internal users as well. This is really, really helpful because possibly an email will slide into your case system or your case solution. You know who the email's from, but somehow Acumatica is not sourcing who they are because they're not specifically attached to that business account, and there's some other things or other natures. We also could see some traction here if you're needing to assign this or have a cross contact with an internal user. So you'll see your internal list as well in that massive contact list. So super helpful, really is some unique business situation where this arises, but it can be a great scenario for us. All right, and we already looked at the emails. Last thing I want to kind of show us is in our integrations in the import scenarios. I mentioned this just in passing, but you'll see that I've got now a full listing. So I have a GI listing of the actual import scenarios, not just simply a lookup list. You'll see all of the ones that Acumatica's giving us out of the gate. So ways to bring in invoices and prepayments and bombs and other import scenarios. So out of the gate, these are now built into the system. We used to have to get them out of, say, demo data or other solutions. So when you're upgraded or if you're newly onboarding Acumatica 2022 R1, these scenarios are being enhanced so that you can trigger them quite nicely from in the system, either on an ongoing basis or during your implementation phase. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump back just momentarily.
Thank you, Dean.
Perfect. Thanks, Kimberly.
Oh, perfect. Sorry. Thanks so much. Wow, that was a lot to take in. There's just so much going on. So I think part of our audience is, actually asking if this is recorded, and it is. So that first question, is this training going to be sent after the class? Yes, to all attendees. We will definitely send you the recording within about 24 hours of the class end. So you can expect that over the next day or so. But Dean, another question came in regarding the Teams integration. It did relate to cost. The question is, how much is that Teams integration? Is that something you have on the top of your head?
I do not have that off the top of my head, and I'm happy to get that answer through our account manager, Nicole Zandier, and we'll see that at the end. We'll reference her information. So we'll get that out to you guys and have that on the ready.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, and that's just tough to answer from a technical perspective, so totally understandable. But with that, if anyone else has additional questions, I would encourage you to use the chat box here. Just want to reiterate the fact that this is available now, right, Dean? Maybe you might review.
It is in production. We have had a couple of stable enhancements to the build, so it's not fresh and green build out of the gate. It's been process improved and QA checked by several clients, several VARs, and Acumatica themselves. So it is proven on the ready, and our team is definitely ready to help people transition into this version of Acumatica.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really important to note because the stability and just our team, the kind of diligence that you and the Acumatica consulting side really take in assessing the build, as you said, I think that that's really unique and awesome that we're conservative about our approach, but that you are saying it's ready, and we're excited to get our clients on this latest version. So with no further questions, maybe you could wrap us up to close.
Excellent. So definitely, with that said, Acumatica 2022 R1 is ready. We're excited to announce it. We're excited to roll it out to our customers. There are more features available. I think the feature set guide is 140 something pages, goes deep, goes in detail on enhancements, corrections, and just tweaks to the database that just help along the way. We've shown you what we think is highlights that really help you in your world. If you would like to just strike up a conversation and just talk more, if you're still a little bit on the fence, feel free to reach out to your account manager, your strategic account manager, Nicole Zandier. She is our dedicated Acumatica account manager. We're excited to have her dedicated to our team. She's deep in Acumatica, understands it really, really well. And then the implementation team and myself are here on the ready to also take information a little bit deeper. If you're live and standing and already available within DSD's customer base, you could easily email Acumatica support at DSD Inc. and just say interested in upgrade, and we can get that into Nicole's camp and help strike up that conversation. So we have a couple ways to go about this and get you started, but we're here to have the conversation. We would love to get you, several of you scheduled and on the ready for the upgrade as you see fit.
Perfect. Yeah, so if we have no further questions, we can go ahead and return a couple minutes of the hour to you all. Once again, thank you, Dean, for presenting and giving the overview. It's awesome to have such a great resource in the DSD team. And thank you to all of you who've joined us. Feel free to reach out to any of the contact information you see here on the screen or reply to any of the emails you've received over the last couple of weeks about this event, and we'll be happy to help you get started with this new exciting release. Thanks so much. Have a great day.